It's the 30th of July, and this is your News Bite brought to you by eNCA.com. I'm Marcel Gordon, and in your news today, the hits just keep coming for Andrea Johnson at the Madlanga Commission. The IEC makes the final call for voters to register, and Chad le Clos enters the Commonwealth Games history books. Former IDAC boss Andrea Johnson might have completed her testimony at the Madlanga Commission, but that doesn't mean she's completely out of the picture. State Prosecutor Ramsamy has taken the seat and has come with receipts.
I want to make it clear that Advocate Johnson and Mr. Perumal launched an orchestrated attack on General Masiamula and General Khumalo using IDAC's powerful investigation tools. And this will become evident in my statement and testimony.
Ramsamy has so far made damning claims against Johnson, including bullying, intimidation, gossiping, and flip-flopping. Ramsamy told the commission that IDAC bosses easily fixed evidence and targeted whoever they wanted. She alleges they carried out these actions because there were inadequate checks and balances in place.
But as it stands, it is left open to manipulation of targets. It is so easy at this point of where we are as IDAC to manipulate the statements, who the suspects are, how the investigation is to proceed, who witnesses will be, what these witnesses will say, how they will say it, what evidence is included, what evidence is not included. And it has, as I will later show, been manipulated by and used by Advocate Johnson and Mr. Perumal.
Code word wig has got tongues wagging in the ongoing corruption trial of former National Assembly Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Qakula, who's pleaded not guilty on 12 counts of corruption and 1 count of money laundering. This is just part of the latest details to come out in the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria, where military contractor Nombasa Nsondwa Ndlovu continued to give testimony. She says Mapisa-Qakula demanded a 300,000 rand kickback disguised as a wig, and Nsondwa Ndlovu claims she actually concealed the money under an actual luxury wig for the handover, which allegedly happened at OR Tambo International.
During the time of the request of the accused for a week, I took time to deliver on the request itself, and as a result of that, I ended up doubling the amount to 300,000.
The instructions to that, the message that is telling you for the week was telling you for the week only and nothing else.
I don't agree with that.
South Africa loses up to R1 billion in revenue to illicit traders who evade taxes. It's with that in mind that the police's National Counterfeit and Illicit Goods Unit led a raid in the Joburg CBD where they seized more than R1 million in illicit goods. eNCA's Bafedile Morane went along for the multidisciplinary operation at Joburg Mall, apparently a notorious hub for illicit trade. The Trade and Industry Departments, Tinswalo and Tlane, as well as the SAPS's Amanda van Wyk, were also there.
The National Regulator for Compulsory Specifications is an agency under the Trade, Industry and Competition Department.
Only identify products that we regulate. We regulate products in multiple sectors, in electronic products, electrical products, automotive products, material products, as well as food and fisheries. So when we go into a shop, we know the products that we regulate in those five categories. So we are able to identify the ones that we regulate, and then we check them against the requirements. If they don't meet the requirements, of course, we then take them out of the market.
Some shop owners say they are not surprised by the police raid, seeing it as part of a familiar enforcement pattern rather than an unexpected disruption.
When consumers are buying this specific item, they are now diverting funds that should have gone to the rightful owner. They are now diverting funds to go to an illegal entity. So it has an impact. It has an impact on the economy of our country because now it leads to reduced production and ultimately to unemployment.
The final value of confiscated items will be determined later, but current estimates exceed 1 million rands.
Don't wait till the last minute. That's the call from the IEC, who will run the final registration process ahead of November's local government election this coming weekend. Now remember, once the Cooperative Governance Minister officially proclaims the election date, the online registration portal will close. But the IEC's Chief Electoral Officer, Simon Mabolo, says that trust in democracy is plunging and registering voters just isn't enough. He says political parties must step up. They must deliver better and give South Africans a reason to care.
There's a contextual issue that cannot be ignored. And that contextual issue is the COVID pandemic at the time. Is that the only factor? A categorical no. Because we've done research, and research tells us that South Africans are increasingly losing trust in institutions of governance. And that explains why they stay away. So we will register as many people as are eligible, and it is then incumbent upon the political players to enthuse people for participation. The policy programs of parties must speak to the hearts and minds of South Africans. The performance of local government, for instance, must be such that it enthuses people for participation. So, if you like, we will play our role. We will encourage people for greater participation, but other agencies of state and other organs within the political system must come to the party with policy programs that are inviting for people.
Meanwhile, the latest African Youth Survey has shown that most young Africans believe their countries are going in the right direction. But that's not the case for the youth here at home in South Africa. Here's Ivor Etchikovitz from the Etchikovitz Family Foundation.
25% believe
we're
that they're
going
heading in the right direction.
75
believe that we're not going in the right direction.
Wrong direction, I mean.
Or if that was the case,
we'll be happier.
I would be a much
so
happier
75% we're going in the wrong direction.
Absolutely.
That's a huge number of young South Africans.
And it contrasts directly against the rest of the continent. A significant majority of young Africans generally believe that their countries and the continent are going in the right direction. So we truly are outliers here. And this has got a lot to do with the fact that young South Africans feel disenfranchised. They don't feel that they're being listened to. And unfortunately, they are still stuck in this old style of democratic, Western-style democracy, which they're all saying doesn't work for them. One of the greatest things that comes out of this survey is that most young Africans believe that democracy is the way forward.
Yes.
Yet, very few say they're going out to vote.
Here's some goodish news on the economic front. South Africans are apparently feeling more optimistic about their financial future as incomes begin to recover. Old Mutual says higher earnings and additional income streams are helping to boost consumer confidence. Here's Old Mutual's Vuyokazi Mabude.
People are definitely optimistic and confident. And one of the biggest drivers of that is that they're earning more this year than they were last year. So 50% of people are earning more in 2026 than they were in 2025. People have been incredibly resilient and found new ways of earning an income through social media, through rental income, through polyjobbing, which is having a side hustle. So the optimism is backed by the income release and relief that they're getting.
In other news, we're keeping an eye on. Fears of a wider regional war in the Middle East are growing. It comes as US President Donald Trump vowed to hit Iran, in his words, very hard. And they did just that overnight, striking dozens of targets and leaving at least 20 people dead. Trump says it was in retaliation for attacks on US forces in Jordan earlier in the week. The South African sugar industry is facing a double whammy, cheap imports and a lack of staff for this year's harvest. The industry is calling for urgent government intervention as cheap imports continue to place pressure on local producers. The South African Cane Growers Association says subsidized sugar from countries including Eswatini, Brazil, India and Thailand is undercutting local production, making it difficult for farmers to compete. Onto the world of sports now, and FIFA President Gianni Infantino has written to all 211 member associations saying they will receive $40 million if they back his controversial plan to sell off private stakes in the organization's major competitions. There's been widespread outrage at the move, notably from UEFA and even UK's Prime Minister Andy Burnham. CAF, meanwhile, says it's still considering the proposal. The company picked to lead the investor group is Thrive Eternal, which belongs to Joshua Kushner, the brother of Donald Trump's son-in-law. Now, many have dismissed the offer of $40 million as an outright bribe, but Infantino has doubled down, saying it is a golden opportunity.
It is a golden opportunity to turbocharge the development of the game globally. But again, it is just an offer, not an obligation. Too little of football's growing commercial value reaches the parts of the game that need it most. Capturing that value requires additional expertise, additional insight, distinct from governing and developing the sport.
Closer to home now, and Kaizer Chiefs will kick off their new Betway Premiership season under their new coach, Fernando de Cruz, when they take on newly promoted Kruger United this weekend. The Frenchman has returned for his second stint at Naturina.
It's difficult because they come from second league. They are in a positive dynamic. They play against a big club like Kaizer Chiefs with a big fans base. So it's an additional motivation for them. But we prepare very well the game. We're ready for Saturday game.
And South African swimming great Chad le Clos has cemented his legacy as the most decorated athlete in Commonwealth Games history. Le Clos secured his 21st medal after taking a bronze in the men's 4x100 medley relay final. The team from the Commonwealth Games took the time to collect le Clos flowers from his teammates and swimmers from England, Australia and Nigeria.
Us guys on the team, us younger guys, we grew up watching Chad swimming.
I drew so much inspiration from you watching you race, and then to stand alongside of you so many times.
I don't think I'd be the swimmer I am today without him in my life.
Well, yeah, he's definitely put South Africa on the map. You know, I was watching him when I was in a field in 2012, watching him.
It's just so great to have someone like that who's so passionate about the sport, because it kind of just like we absorb all of that energy that he overflows.
He's been, you know, a big inspiration for a lot of us younger ones coming from Africa. Is something special. I had a photo with him like 20 years ago, and now being able to share a team with you is just amazing.
Friend, rival, and idol, I guess, as well. You know, from watching you before 2012 to racing you all the way through. You're one of the best racers the world's ever seen.
It's one of the greatest of all time.
His legacy is going to live on for a long time.
Absolute credit to the sport, and hopefully he can keep contributing.
And that's how we wrap today's News Bite. For developments in these and more, keep an eye on eNCA.com and DSTV channel 403.